Good morning, everyone. This is Pastor Nic. I grew up in a church where I looked forward to Holy Week every single year. Maundy Thursday had to have been my favorite, and I guess that was between the foot washing that everyone participated in and then the stripping of the altar, which held a lot more value to me now as an adult than I realized probably then. I remember being 14 and being excited to one day lead a congregation and to practice all of these beautiful rituals that we do during this week. And here we are now, at my first call in the middle of a pandemic, unable to be united together. So I guess that's a little hard. However, we kind of all knew that this was coming early in March, that there would be a great chance that we wouldn't be together. So I've been left to think about what all of these different rituals mean and how we can understand it in our culture today. I mean, when you think about it, we're not walking miles upon miles to get to other people's houses. We don't just have a bunch of servants waiting to wash our guests' feet. And to be honest, most of our feet probably aren't as bad as they used to be then. We have shoes now. And yes, there were shoes then, but we have durable, good shoes for the most part. At least I should say those of us with privilege. But now we're being tasked to wash our hands all the time. In an effort to stop this pandemic from spreading, in an effort to protect people that are highly vulnerable to this illness, each and every one of us are being charged with the radical act of love by simply washing our hands. I guess in many ways, this feels a lot more relatable to the content that we think of over 2,000 years ago, where Jesus washed the disciples' feet. Jesus being master of the home, Jesus being master of all, rabbi, leader, is now bowed down with a towel over his lap, washing his disciples' feet. These men that he recruited to go on this wild, wild journey across lands. If we think about the text, you can remember the discomfort many people had, right? Jesus, no, you shouldn't be doing this. If anything, I should be washing your feet. And Jesus responds, unless I wash you, you'll have no part of me. And now all of a sudden everyone wants to get their feet washed. But let's think about that. Let's think about how prior to this, Mary of Bethany anoints the feet of Jesus, prophesying what is soon to come, but blessing him in such a way, pouring very nice oils over his feet. And now, Jesus is like returning the favor to a bunch of guys that he knows will betray him, will do him wrong, will lie on his name, will deny him of his own humanity. But he still does it. The power in that is even when we wash our hands, though we know we're doing it for other people, we also know that not everyone is following the code either. We know that there are plenty of folk right now who are still not social distancing, going out to the parks, taking long walks with people, having quarantine parties, the like. But we can't control what other people do. We can't control people's desires. Something that you learn in clinical pastoral education is around triangling, right? I can't control the relationship that this person has with this disease or this illness or this other person. All I can control is my relationship with said person and my relationship with said disease, illness, or other person. And the same thing kind of applies here. I have no say over what the world does. We have no say over what the rest of the world does. We have no say in what politicians recommend over what civilians do. But what we do have power on is how we act and respond to crisis and to the wellness of our neighbors. Now, I know many of us listening to this probably have the luxury of having running water at home, the luxury of having ample amount of hand soap and access to sinks. And there's a good amount of people who don't have those luxuries. And that's why we wash our hands. There's also a good amount of people who do have it and still will fail to uphold their part of this covenant with each other, with the world, their communal covenant. On this Maundy Thursday, I invite us to take a moment to wash our hands one really good time. To wash off the woes, to wash off the anxiety that is carried with all of this, and to live into the now, live into the radical love that Jesus teaches us when he washes his disciples' feet. Amen.